Hey there, it's Wednesday 22nd of May 2020. I am your host, Ademola Adeyemi, and you're welcome to TNS, the Nigerian Story Podcast. Now, here is $1 million question for us all. Why is it that Nigerians find it very difficult to trust the government and the leaders they elect to power? And today, to answer the question in this episode 6, I am bringing to you something special, a special delicacy. I call that the promise.
Take the Holy Bible in your right hand and repeat after me. I, Olusegun Obasanjo,
I, Olusegun Obasanjo,
do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
As your president to head a democratic civilian administration, the beneficiaries of corruption in all forms will fight back with all the foul means at their disposal. We shall be firm with them. There will be no sacred cows. Nobody, no matter who and where, will be allowed to get away with the breach of the law or the perpetration of corruption and evil.
Our interest is how we stabilize light, and we promise that before the middle of next year, light will be reasonably, I'm not saying total, reasonably stabilized in this country.
I intend to keep my oath and serve as president to all Nigerians. I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. A few people have privately fears that on coming back to office, I shall go after them. These fears are groundless. There will be no paying off old scores. The past is prologue. Nigerians will not regret that they have entrusted national responsibility to us. We must not succumb to hopelessness and defeatism. We can fix our problems.
Now, the first voice we heard was that of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo during his inauguration ceremony in 1999. Then it was, of course, followed by that of the former President Goodluck Jonathan doing the launching of a power project. Then we concluded with that of President Muhammadu Buhari. I think everybody knows that. Now, to start the show this evening, in Senate claims, politicians are judged by how many of their campaign promises they fulfill, regardless of their party affiliation. But in Nigeria, the case is quite different. You know, there's this huge gap between what we order and what we get. Most of the time, we are like somebody that ordered for pizza and they brought curry for the person. So as a result of that, government upon government, the people are losing faith, trust and belief in the leaders, and would, if possible, would award their government a prestigious award of the best liar of the century. So joining me now to talk about the Nigerian government, the promises, and why Nigerians find it difficult to believe and trust the government is Mr. Ademola Adeyemi, a communication strategist. Mr. Ademola Adeyemi, you're welcome to TNS.
Thank you.
The first question is, so what's your view about Nigerians' successive government and the promises they make?
Ever since I have been able to decipher what politics or leadership is in Nigeria, it has always been a case of political office holders making promises to us followers. So before I was born, there was something called Division 1999 Vision.
Yeah.
While we got to 1999, there was supposed to be more electricity and life was supposed to be basically better. That was what the vision was about. So we postponed this vision again to Vision 2010.
Okay.
And I remember Sound Sultan, the popular Nigerian musician, Lanrewadi Fasasi, popularly known as Sound Sultan, he made a song featuring MI that he titled 2010, and he recounted everything that politicians have said to us. Like, you guys said that there will be lights in 2010. You have said that we would have accessible roads in 2010. We'll have free water supply. Children will go to school free of charge.
Yes.
But this is supposed to be the idea of the Vision 2010. So from Vision 2010, we moved again to Vision 2020.
Yeah. And
2020 we have now, it's the same promises and still a system of failed leadership without any trustworthy word, not being able to carry out all these things that they have pointed out that they would do. So it's always been a basic problem of us having leadership that do not keep to their words. So as Nigerians, it has always been a case of people who just come during the campaign seasons. They make promises, they say this, they say that. Yeah, we cheer them and we vote them in. Like I remember the words of the popular Nigerian singer Ademola Adeyemi, popularly known as Nice.
Yeah.
He said something in Yoruba. He said, "Buddha sikoboyen, wan asadugbo, wan asomo jeje, eje kowo letan, gbogbo eje ton je."
Okay, so let me help you out on that one, please.
Bódà tí kò bóyẹn, wọ́n wá sádùúgbò, wọ́n aṣọ ọmọ jẹ́ẹ́jẹ́. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ kan wọlé tán, gbogbo ẹ̀jẹ̀ tán jẹ́ láwọ̀ kẹ́ṣẹ́. Tó bá tún ṣe wẹ́rẹ́, lásìkò bò wọ́n ní kọ́dọ̀ tó lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Wọ́n á ṣẹ̀nu mẹ́rẹ́, kàlòkàlò gbé nǹkan mi ṣẹ̀nu wúyẹ́. Làbí tún ti wọlé, ta ló dìbò fún? Pàṣán tàbí iná yálé, ó ń bẹ lórí àjà fún. Ọ̀dọ́ ẹ̀ lọ tún ra mú. Ẹ má jọ pàkán ní funfun. Fún yín, mo wí tèmi.
But what he was basically saying was, during elections, these people come to us and they act like as meek as doves. They make promises to us, but after the elections, what is the outcome? They become rulers over us, non-leaders. They become people who impose their excesses on us. They become people who impose their rules on us. They basically don't even care about the day-to-day lives of us as Nigerians. So it has always been a problem of leaders not being able to keep to their words. Like if you recount in the first tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari, like during the campaign season, there were a whole lot of things going around that they were making a lot of promises. Promises. $1 to $1, one this to one that. And today, but the truth is, we couldn't even, like, they didn't even go through the total process of saying, okay, is this thing going to be possible? What's the state of the country? What country am I inheriting? What kind of what's in the foreign reserves? What kind of foreign reserves am I inheriting? But no, they didn't do that. They started to make empty promises, and at the end of the day, they couldn't just fulfill those promises. Like I listened to something just as I was preparing for this. I listened to like speech of Nigerian presidents like from 99 till date, and there's one thing that has been constant. It's been a talk about fighting against corruption.
Yeah, that's true.
They talk about fighting against corruption, and it has always been a recurring decimal in the speech of the president. Everybody has been talking about fighting against corruption, but no. But the truth of it is anybody really fighting corruption? No, these politicians are only using that means to fight their political enemies who have also in one way or the other been indicted with corruption cases. But the guys who are their friends, the people who are their their cohorts, they don't even get to, who are very corrupt, even more corrupt than those who they are fighting against. They don't even get to even open their case files when they are in office. So those are some of the things that we face as citizens, as Nigerians. The fact that governments will continue to make promises, and at the end of the day, these old promises all seem to be empty without taking proper cognizance and proper recognition of the Nigerian masses.
Thank you very much, sir. But I have a question for you based on what you said the other time, sir. So why do you think Nigeria has been having this kind of leadership over time? As in, is it why Nigeria? As in, why us?
Okay, so like I earlier said that we have had a system of failed leadership since 1999 till date.
Okay.
And that has been as a result of so many things that we have gone through as people and how young our democracy is. Like, if you recall, like in the better part of the 90s, we were basically ruled by the military, and you see a people who have basically been tortured, we have basically been under coercion for so long, and they finally get to rule themselves, like through the means of election and the democratic way that we are practicing today, that we call democracy. So it has been as a result of everything that has happened. Like, imagine a country that's gone through civil war, a country that has basically been under military rule for the better part of the 90s. So imagine that set of people, imagine what it would have been on their mental health. And that's the reason why we behaved majorly the way we behave most of the time. So it has secondly always been a system of poverty, because of the high rate of poverty, people don't even access these people that we vote into public office. Like, we don't even care about, okay, is this person even fit enough for this office? But as long as the person has money and has just a few ones of naira to fling in the air, has a few bags of rice to deliver, has garri to give to the people. So it has always been a choice of hunger. People are living between life and death, and people would rather go for someone who has money to give them, someone who has money to hand out, than people who have ideas. So the democracy we have always run over the years has been very expensive. Like, if you recall the last election, we said that they said that there was going to be a third force, and if you now see, in the major parties, we had parties charging as much as 25 million for nomination forms. But really, if we wanted a third force, if we wanted a different type of leadership, and we don't, and at the end of the day, like, we can't even, people who should run for public office because they have ideas of what it entails, they don't even have the money. So it is the same set of leaders who have been in charge of things even during the military era that still have the money to dole out. So it has always been, those are some of the problems that we have faced in choosing efficient leadership in this country. So it is basically a problem of our psychology, how messed up our psychology is because of what we have been through, civil war, the military rule, and secondly, poverty. Poverty is at its peak in the Nigerian state. So you know what it is, that even according to some ratings, they rate Nigeria as the poverty capital of the entire world. So you know what it is, you know how it is going to be easy to buy these people over with just little gifts items. So until we get to a level where we don't, like, people can afford these things, people can now afford to say, no, we don't want you again, you have been here for more than 16 years, nothing, you have not done anything for us. People, and when will people be able to do that? When they have the economic power to do that. And lastly, as I said, the fact that we have always, our democracy is very expensive, and it is very hard for people who know what it is to be leaders to raise that kind of money to contest in an election. Imagine if you need about $1 billion to contest in an election, and you know what it is to even get $1 billion in Nigeria. You know, with the kind of people that can afford $1 billion in Nigeria. So those are some of the problems that we face in choosing leadership in Nigeria.
Oh, Thank you, Mr. Ademola, for that very insightful view. But before we proceed, let's go to the streets to hear people's opinion.
So I want to ask you a question about the Nigerian government and promise. Do you trust them when they say they are going to do something for us?
Capital no. They are unreliable. Whatever they say, they just say it as a politician, just to make people think they are in action.
Government, no, I don't trust them. But from here to here like this, I don't trust them.
Unfortunately, no.
No, I don't trust them.
There's no hope on them.
So, sir, why did you say that?
The reason being, whatever they say they want to do, they either do it for their family, they will not do it to the extent that the general public will benefit from the program. And even we can see now, the student that is at home, you say you want to be doing school feeding for them. It's an example. It's not something feasible. It's like they want to carry the money again. They want to go and embezzle the money again.
They are not trustworthy now. Those people that are they are not trustworthy, Jerry.
If they said they want to do A, I'm expecting M or Z from them because they are unreliable.
Well, situations around, as you know, the COVID-19 issue has really revealed to us that every promise of a government is a scam. So I don't believe anything the government says.
Because they have deprived me my rights.
1960, there's nothing they have done. Only they have done everything for themselves.
Okay.
Not the people of the country.
Oh.
Yeah, you're welcome back from the street. And as we've heard, all of those people don't have trust. They don't believe in the government again. They don't believe in whatever the politician says again. And now, I want to ask a question from our guest speaker. Now, the question is, sir, what do you think we can do to make our political office holder more accountable?
In the case of what we need to do to make our political office holders more accountable, what we need to do is we need to hold these people to by their words. So let's say a guy is contesting to be president now, and he says, okay, before the next 4 years, I'm going to build the 5th Niger bridge. So after the 4 years, we're going to open the books and say, Oga, where is the 5th Niger bridge you promised? And even if he could not deliver the 5th Niger bridge, at least the work should have gone gotten to like a reasonable extent.
Yeah.
You understand me? So when we hold our political office holders or people who are in public office by their words, we hold them by their oath of allegiance, the promises they make during campaigns, by also the oath of office that they take, these people tend to do better. But it has always been a case of okay, just give me 1 cup of rice and I'll forget your sins and I'll vote you in again. Or just say, okay now, Shebi is our brother now. We are Yoruba and we are all Yoruba together. Okay now, Shebi now Yoruba won't do one more time. Okay, maybe we'll just vote for him. But that shouldn't be the case. The case should be, even if that guy is Yoruba, but he is misbehaving, I should be able to hold him by his words. So it has always been a politics of division. There's always been a politics of poverty that has been the major reason why we can't even hold our leaders accountable no more. And so for us to move forward as a nation, for us to say, okay, we have achieved this in the last, let's say, 60 years of our existence as Nigeria, we must be able to hold our leaders accountable enough and say, what have you done? What have you done to even deserve a second term? Or those governors that just run for governor, okay, after 8 years of being governor, the good is, okay, what have you done in the last 8 years to now say you deserve a seat in the Senate, or you deserve, you get? So when we begin to question these people, because we don't question them enough, their accountability level is very low. So when we begin to raise the bar for them and say, you can't continue to rule this country or rule this state as if you are ruling your family house. No, they begin to do better. Politicians begin to do better when we begin to hold them accountable by their words.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ademola Adeyemi. Thank you for your time. We are so grateful. So, dear listeners, as you have heard, we need to start making demands for accountability, as in we need to start holding our leaders responsible, and importantly we need to start asking questions. Ask questions like what have you done as a leader to deserve a second term? Why should we vote for you? Why should we vote for you? Those are kind of questions that we need to start asking, and we need to stop this issue of politics of division. I'm from the south, I'm from the north, because this guy is from my area, Omowani, so I must vote for the person. So we need to stop all those for us to have a progressive Nigeria, and for us to conquer this issue of promise and fail. I really want to appreciate my crew on board, Miss Chineku Metu, our program editor, Mr. Michael Aluojo, the head of graphics, Miss Iyanu Afolayan, and of course myself. I also want to appreciate all our interviewees. We are so grateful. Thank you very much. This is the Nigerian story. My story.
Your story. Our story. Thank you for listening. Please share your comments and reviews. You can join the discussion on our social media handle on WhatsApp at Revive Nigeria Mission on 0813-387-1480. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Revive Nigeria Mission. Join us next week as we will be telling another interesting story. Shout out to all members of Revive Nigeria Mission. We love you.